Welcome to the Divine Connection Podcast. I'm your host, Cristina Aroche, and together we are walking the path of discovering your true self and the alignment with your soul. Through these conversations, you will experience a deeper level of connection with yourself and the universe, and most importantly, you will trust in your spiritual journey ahead. Let's begin. All right.
Yes.
Welcome to this episode, everyone. I am so excited for you to meet my guest today. We have Dominico in the house.
Hello.
Yes.
Nice to meet you all. This is Simon.
Gosh.
He's going to help me out today.
Yes, I love that. I'm so excited that you brought in Simon and that you agreed to come on here and to share more about you and your journey. And one of the things that I'm just so excited about is who you are and who you've become and what you've stepped into in terms of your work in this world. And people really need to know you. So if you do not know Dominico, she is a native New Yorker, recording artist, songwriter, and producer. And her whole life, she was aware that she was an empath. However, it wasn't until she experienced a great awakening on January 7th, 2021, that she then began to explore her spirituality on a deeper level. And so this is when Dominico first heard the word Lightworker for the very first time. And then Dominico's latest song, Motivation, is a direct result from a meditation connecting with her higher self and an affirmation assignment from yours truly.
That's right.
From one of my masterclasses.
Yes.
And I'm just so excited that, just seeing how far you've come and knowing you since, that beginning part of 2021 and everything that you've experienced since then. I'm just in awe of you, honestly. I'm just in awe of you.
I'm in awe of you.
Thank you.
For reals.
I just love you. And I want to start off by for you to share a little bit about this great awakening, because I know that it's like, it has that title for a reason, The Great Awakening. And I know that we've talked about that before.
Yeah.
And kind of sharing a little bit more of a little bit life pre-Great Awakening and life after Great Awakening. And what was that moment on January 7th?
Yeah, I always knew that I was sensitive and I was very connected to God. I went to Catholic school, did the whole bing, bong, boom,
Yeah.
And, but I never fully embraced it. I always had this fear. I mean, also because I love horror movies and the paranormal, so that didn't help. But I always had this fear that whenever I would kind of tap into it and lean into it and embrace it, the energy was so strong and so zoom, that it was completely overwhelming to me, so that's number one. And I think the main reason also is you and I have discovered that in my past lifetimes, which have been many, I did not make it. My journey was, I got taken out for being a light worker. So it's really interesting that the fear has just been, am I safe? Am I safe? Am I safe? Right? So I knew that I was an empath. I learned that a while ago. It was like, but it wasn't like, oh, I'm an empath. I saw it as, oh, that's what's wrong with me. That's what's wrong with me. I feel everything. And I'm very close to animals. I communicate with animals really easily. Then the first time I saw the word Lightworker was January 7th. All right. The day after the big, because it has everything to do with what happened at the insurrection, as we, and it was a crazy time. I had voted already, and it was that time of after voting and then all this craziness that I needed to unplug, and I happened to be able to be home for that time period. And I didn't watch the news. It was affecting my health, all the craziness that was going on in the world.
Absolutely.
So I'm like, I can't do anything more. I did my job. I voted, I'm praying. And then I can't watch all of this stuff. So I'm probably one of the only few people in the entire world that did not know what happened on January 6th. And that was for a reason. Okay. So I'm on YouTube, right? I watch it here in my den on the TV, right? And I come across this, and it's January 7th, and I come across Lightworker, calling all Lightworkers. I'm like, and I felt that pull. I'm like, all right, and I started, and then I got all the tingles and all the feelings, and I'm like, am I a Lightworker? And then you working with me, as soon as you're like, oh, you're a Starseed. My first thing is like, yeah, no, I'm not, right? But I knew that it was true. And so then I started watching a lot of things about Lightworkers, and it was like this resonance on a level that I had never felt before. I felt all these weird vibrations, this humming almost. You could feel it was almost tangible. Like right now, like as I'm getting ready for this interview, like my hands, they get charged. I feel like my fingers get charged, my hands get charged all the way to like my heart. So I'm like, and then, and then as I'm on YouTube and I start seeing, after I saw that more and more about what happened the day before. So I'm like, God, this is not a coincidence, This is not a coincidence that the divine was like, listen, it's time for you to wake up and know who you are and embrace your gifts. And it wasn't long after that I found you. So once I awakened, I learned, all right, let me meditate once and for all. Let me learn how to meditate. And I'm also like a big nerd. Dr. Joe Dispenza, I was like watching, right, like all that science, right? So I was watching that and like understanding, oh, okay, let me give the meditation thing a try. And well, you see what happens when I go into meditation. Oh, yeah. I had no idea that I was a channel. I had no idea that I channeled divine energy, but it started to go somewhere. I started to get silent. I started to hear myself and not so much all the fears that I grew up with or all the false negative limiting beliefs. I have to dab my nose because when we start getting spiritual, my nose runs. So
perfect. I know exactly what that feels like. I know exactly what that feels like. Yes, this is the real. Yeah, we keep it real over here. I might be the next one grabbing a tissue, so.
Yeah, all right, cool.
Yes.
Boop, boop, boop.
Yes.
So that was a life-changing experience, and I quickly was led to you.
Yep.
And I knew. I mean, I identified with you, like, because I'm like, I need a teacher. And I'm looking and I'm finding people like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I identify with that. But with you, and it was the angels. It was the angels. That was the huge thing because my best friend, my lifelong best friend, Katie, who is not with us anymore, she told me about she wasn't even like even though she was a Catholic school teacher, she told me about angel oracle cards years ago.
Oh, wow.
And she's like, you got to get it. It's so cool, So like, I'm like, okay, I got it. And I didn't feel afraid. I didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't doing real spreads. I was like asking a question, closing my eyes. And when I saw the color green, I knew that's the card. Stop. Pick. That's the card. And growing up, I've always seen in colors, always. And green has always been a really big, a color that comes up a lot. Now I know that's the heart chakra. And so I started to open up a little bit, feeling a little more safe, knowing the angels are the root. So I didn't go much further than that, but knowing like, yeah, you know what? I could do this. But only if I'm dealing with the angels, only if I'm dealing with the archangels. I mean, I have felt Archangel Michael with me my whole life. And a strong connection. Am I right? You could tell me.
Yes.
I'm right about that. Like,
absolutely.
Since I was a child. Yeah. I mean, the name Michael, my dad's name was Michael. My grandfather's name was Michael. My brother's name is Michael. It's important. My therapist's name is Michael. So
my gosh.
a big name.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I saw you, the archangels, and was like, I'm safe. I'm safe. Because that was always the number one. I have to be safe. I have to feel safe. I didn't understand completely why, besides all the horror movies I watch, that, what is that about? And then you and I found out, in past lifetimes that we've had to heal. Like, there's a reason why you don't feel safe, because and apparently I'm an old soul. And I didn't, my whole life, I didn't know that, but yet all my life I've been saying things, like I feel like an old soul and I'm tired, I'm tired of an old soul and I feel like I am super tired. Turns out that's all true.
Yep.
So, so I still I only feel safe with the angels. I open up to everything that you and I have been doing and cosmic beings, but everything comes through the angels. And I want everybody that's watching to know that if you have not done the Guardian Angel reading with Cristina, you really need to, because that was the first reading that I had with her. And once we did that, the doors just flew open.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yep.
I mean,
they really did.
When I was 18, I found this one thing, because again, I would dip in and dip out, and dip out, touching on the spiritual. And there was this exercise, if you want to know who your guardian angels are, picture this thing and, in your mind. And then once you feel, you ask for a name, right? So I did that, and I got the name Ray. I mean, I don't have any Rays in my life, right? So it was exciting, but the fear, okay, but what if this is something scary? So I didn't really ever call on Ray. But then, I'd have readings throughout my life with, mediums and stuff. And the name Ray would be there's someone named Ray around you. And so I always took a mental note,
Right, right.
And before our guardian angel reading, I said, Ray, if you're a thing, say hello today. So you're going around, you're okay, you got 5 guardian angels. I'm like, wow. These guys really want to make sure I stay alive in this lifetime, right? And so we did Ben. We got Ben here. We got Charles here. And then we get behind you and you're like, all right, there's one behind you. He's really big. He seems like the lead guardian angel. And his name is Ray. And I was out. I was like, oh my God, Ray.
I remember that moment. I do. I remember that moment so clearly. You were like your jaw hit the floor, it felt like, where you were like, wait, what?
Chills, yes.
Yeah, and I was like, wait, what's the connection here? And you shared that story with me, and it's just amazing. It's so good.
Yep, and then I also have Gabrielle, and then I have Emmett. So, and Emmett's an old soul, sacred knowledge, and so since then, obviously I've connected with them and I know Ray's energy. It all came to me wow, I have felt your energy before. I have felt that there were times in my life that maybe I was in situations or in locations perhaps I had no business being in, you find yourself sometimes in situations and you're like, I don't feel, and I really feel there was a couple times that were a little bit scary. And I felt like somebody was protecting me. And I know it was Ray.
Yep. Oh my gosh. I just love that. It's so cool to be able to see it, even in retrospect, when you think about those times and you're like, oh, now I know who that was.
Now I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And
yeah, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
He does this to me. And I can't tell you how many times way before the Great Awakening, I'll be like, what? I feel so.
It's like he touches the back of your head, right? It's like, oh, someone's back there.
He does this because I think the angels, all the angels, they understand that I need that. I need.
Yeah.
It's okay. Like Herschel Angel Alexandra, she does this to me, and I also feel Ray of Light. Actually, that's what I call him because when he came through in our reading, you were like, he says Ray like Ray of Light. I'm like, that's it, Ray of Light. He works with. You can tell me if I'm right. He works with Alexandra a lot.
Yes.
For me, through me, with me.
Yep.
And earlier today, listening to music, getting ready, trying to calm down, and I heard, shining bright like a diamond. And that's my little thing with Alexandra. I was like, okay, you're here. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh. I just love that. That's so cool. It's so cool. And it's so amazing to hear about your experience with this sense of like remembrance and connecting the dots, almost like you were saying, now I know those times in my life when this happened, and, the fact that Ray was there to protect me, or, and understanding how Alexandra is an angel who works so deeply with you. And I know a lot of other angels and divine beings come forward for you. And, it's really cool to see how once we are ready and willing and open to that connection, how quickly things unfold, because this all happened beginning of 2021, right? And so that's 2 years ago?
Our meeting. Our meeting was April of 2021. So like my meeting with you is where I felt like, oh, I'm off. That's when things really started.
Yeah. And it's just amazing to see.
Sessions.
Yes, yes, we have. And it's amazing to see just how, once you hit the go button, it's like everything starts to unfold. You've had these realizations and these connections and these awarenesses that have come through for you. And I think the coolest part, knowing you for the last couple of years is how you're like, all right, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, you're just like,
let's go. Yeah.
I'm ready to go. Like, let's
here.
Just do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because I feel safe. I feel safe. It's like, I'm with the angels. I'm with the archangels. I'm open. Nothing can happen to me.
Yes.
Okay. This to the listener, the watchers, the listeners, whatever. When I do this, that's the thing Christina and I have. Like if we're having a session, I'm like, oh, that means I just heard something. Like
tapping your forehead. I feel, like boop.
I feel Ray stepping forward.
Yes. Tell us, what is he saying? What is he saying right now?
It's okay. Everything is okay.
Yeah. So with these, we'll call them remembrances, revelations, like awakenings, all of this that has happened, we've talked about, you being a Pleiadian starseed. We've talked about being a keeper of the violet flame, so being a divine channel for this beautiful energy. How do you feel like it has, what's the word I want to use? I guess affected the work that you do now, as a songwriter, as someone who creates art and brings forward energy, creative energy in that way. Do you feel like it has shifted how you approach that? Or do you feel like it's more something like now you can see how it's always been there, but now you just are able to see what it actually has been this whole time? Do you know what I mean?
That's it. Just like the meditation, the channel, your journeys and everything. I've been doing this always. I just now know what that is. Now I'm like, that's how I think normally. It's like, no, you're channeling. It's like, well, that's how I see things. No, you're feeling this. That's the chakra. That's, so my creativity, I was channeling, like I've had people say, like when I'm writing a song or producing, they're like, it's like you're just taking dictation. That's what it looks like I'm doing. I'm just, because it just comes. I can't read or write music. Okay. So everything is by ear that I do. And
that is mind-blowing. That's incredible. And I've listened to your songs and they're so beautiful and so
thank you.
Heartfelt. You know what I mean? It's like that feeling when you listen and something gets activated inside of you, or you like feel the emotion, you feel the energy, and you're like, oh my God. Like that's the feeling that I get when I listen to your songs. And I just love that.
Thank you. I appreciate that, like everything I can't really stress this enough that like everything was from our work everything that we did together and continue to do together is the foundation of my what's the right word? Not belief, my choice to fully embrace this and go, all right, cool.
Yes.
So like now when I'm writing, since I know I'm channeling, I specifically ask. I ask the guardian angels, Ben and Charles, to hold the space, help me speak. Archangel Gabriel from my throat chakra, help me to speak my truth. And the angels always like, just come from love. And be yourself, share who you are, say what you got to say, so now it's like I'm doing it on purpose. I'm purposefully channeling, like I was always channeling, but since I understand through our work, I channel. It reminds me of like this old movie, What About Bob? And there's this funny scene where like he's sailing, he's afraid to sail, and so he sails. He's like, I sail. And so like ever since I found out I could channel, I'm like, I channel.
I love that.
I channel.
Yes.
Humor's a big part of my life. I mean, humor's a big part of my life. And I feel like that's how spirit speaks to me, with humor. Very very humorous, because that's what I understand. That's
That's exactly how they communicate with us, in a way in which we will be the most receptive to it. That also, I think, is a mirror to our own personality or quirks and, all sorts of things like that. And it's kind of like, it's the best way to, kind of have that connection in relationship, I feel like, because then you kind of feel like you're talking to someone who really gets you, or you're able to open up to that connection in a way where you're like, okay, I don't have to be a certain way to, for the angels to connect with me or to be a channel or whatever. It's just being who you are already. And they meet you at that.
Yep. Our session that we have, like, I'm going to say that a lot in our session, because for me, everything has been based off of our one-on-ones, our sessions, and all the classes. But we were having a one-on-one, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, you have seraphim angels. Like, what's that? And so I have two seraphim angels, and so like, one, it came through. You're like, oh, he doesn't want to tell you his name. He wants you to guess his name. So as soon as you said that, instantly, I go, oh, I got scared. Like, no. But then I saw the letter C come forward. So I said, does it start with a C? And you said yes. So I'm like, all right. And you and I had like another class like scheduled for like a week later. And I was in a car. I was like in a car, like in the city driving. And I passed by a hotel. I think it was like the Carlton or something. And
yes, that's what it was. I remember you telling me that. Yeah.
And something happened. And I'm like, okay, but like I didn't know for sure then. But a lot of stuff happens in my sleep, I'm realizing, right? A lot of time. And this is like, I went to sleep the night, I woke up and I'm like, Carl! Like I woke up saying Carl. So when we had our session, I was like, it's Carl, right? So Carl and Henry.
Yes, I love that. That's so amazing. I just love how you wake up and it's like, boom, that's the name. And that's happened to me before too. Yeah. I don't know if I've yelled it out. I don't know if I've yelled it out waking up, but yeah.
That's what I do. I'm just like,
so funny.
Like there was a spirit guide. I'm like, Solomon. Like, and I asked you, I'm like, who's Solomon? And I didn't tell you, like I was, thinking it was a spirit guide. You're like, oh, that's a spirit guide. That's the only human spirit guide I have. The rest are animals. Yeah, the rest are animals.
Yes.
They're like butterfly. I have a butterfly. I have a big owl named Snow. I have Phoenix the cat through one of your classes from Egypt who was like coming to see me. So, and then one person, one human. But if you know me, I guess it's not really surprising because I'm a huge animal person and I'm able to really communicate with animals. That was one of the first things that you said about me in our very first thing. You're like, you connected to animals and your voice is your sacred gift. And that's how you connect with people. I didn't tell you I was a singer. I didn't tell you that I was just thinking
that. I don't think I knew. Yeah.
Nothing,
wow.
Nothing.
That's so cool. It's amazing. I mean, you just bring that forward in your energy. You know what I mean? And that's just so beautiful.
Thank you.
I think it's one of my favorite things about, our connection and getting to know you is just you radiate this beautiful energy. And even though we've never met in person yet, I feel like, I can only imagine what it's like to be in the same room as you. It's just amazing, incredible.
Thank you.
Yes,
thank you.
yes,
Thank
yes.
you, Christina. You're the best. You're the best.
I just love you. And so one of the things that I wanted to ask you, actually, because, you know, I know that this journey for all of us is an ongoing, the spiritual awakening path, the discovery path. It's always an ongoing thing, right? And sometimes I think there's moments on the journey where it feels smoother than other times, right? And some of the times it's that wave of ascension symptoms that come forward. And this wave of I knew you would be like, oh yeah, that part, that keyword, yeah. And I know that you've recently been going through that. Yeah. So if you want to share a little bit about this with our audience and just kind of sharing, you know, what you've personally been going through, and if you have any sort of advice or the top thing that comes into your mind to help support others who may be going through this, who also might be like, I feel like I'm going crazy or something, you know what I mean? So yeah. What's your experience been like with this recently?
I'm a good person to share because I totally felt like I was going crazy and often feel like I am. Yeah. So it's really important, guys, to have at least one person like Christina to bounce stuff off and be like, okay, I'm not dying, right? I'm going to make, you do. You need at least one person, one grounded person to be like, no, this is what's going on. I mean, I've been going through ascension symptoms since September.
Wow. So September of 2022. And right now we are recording at the very end of January 2023. So that's quite a while.
I'm kind of done. I'm kind of done. I've been having my electrolytes, like you told me. I feel like I'm in the final stages of it, you know?
Okay. Good. Yes.
But the first, because you told me you were like, all right, right after the new year, you're going to be like, you're going to feel like a significant relief. And I did, because from September up until then, the main symptom was complete exhaustion. Like going into the other room, taking a shower was like an accomplishment. Right. You know what I mean? Like that, exhausted and the dizziness, the lightheaded, and don't get me started on the ear ringing, for crying out loud. Like, beep, 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 beep. It's like, this is where I'm totally going insane, you know?
Right.
And especially at nighttime too, you know? So all of that was going on, you know, for and then after the new year, the extreme headiness, dizziness, and extreme, exhaustion lifted.
Good.
And so that's why I like to feel like I'm in the last stages. But the last stages, because we had a session was almost 2 weeks ago or something, right? So where it's it was headaches, headaches. If you remember, last session was and I don't get headaches, and it was so that was going on for a week. And then what I'm just getting over now, after the headaches, was the headache is on a 2 now, so I don't have to take anything for it. So it's that means it's much better.
Yes.
But it's been stomach and nausea but not being able to really eat a whole lot, which is a cycle in itself. If you don't have enough food, then you don't feel well, on top of it. So it's been really pretty miserable, I must say. I hopefully feel like I'm coming to the end of this particular. Yeah,
I really feel that.
Headaches.
Yes. I immediately, as you say that, I see February as this shining light for you. Do you know what I mean? The sense of
good.
And we're almost there. So we're just a few days away.
Thank God.
And
thank God.
And it really feels like this kind of talking a corner type of energy, with regards to that.
Good. Thank you. See, everybody, you need somebody that you trust to talk to about it. And I'm here to tell you that you can get through it. So find at least one person that you trust that you can talk to about it, and you will get through it. You're not going crazy. And just know that things in your body are healing. And I guess the headaches that I was getting, was my third eye and my crown chakra. Because the way I see things now intuitively is really super quick, really super crisp. And the way that I see things in meditation or journeys, it's almost like cartoonish. Like, that's my spirit. I'm like a big kid. So I feel like that's like where home is, like the inner child, which has always been really important to me, to keep the inner child alive. And like an inner child, I see things like either a comic book or like, you know, a superhero movie. So I don't get serious with it. You know, you're like, there's a light coming down and it's coming out. So I'll be like, Shazam, you know, like they'll just,
I love that.
It'll just having fun with it, you know, and that works, you know. But like, it's interesting. I want to share something with you about alchemy.
Please do. That word has been coming up so much recently. Yes, please share. Yes.
This is interesting. Like, okay, so ascension symptoms, right? I had a really, really important event to go to last week. And it's something, it was a personal event, and it was something that I had RSVP'd to like a month and a half ago. And it was at the height of the nausea and the not eating and the just and the stomach going, you know, what about your friends? You know, like that was going on in my stomach. And it was like the day before. And so here comes the fear, right? Fear takes away all your options, right? So here comes the fear. So I'm immediately I'm like, there's no way I can make this. This is insane. So I go into the mode of, who do I call? Who do I get in touch with? I want to do this respectfully. I want to let them know. And I felt the energy shift, and I was already accepting that I wasn't going. And that was unacceptable to me. And that's a familiar place I would go to, as to like, well, trying to be rational. Like, you know, I can't go. Let me contact the people that are expecting me to go. And just thinking about how crappy that made me feel, not coming through for my friends, and just being completely disappointed. And what was the 2 words I wrote down? Release the expectations, and I think I wrote it down. Here's my little cheat sheet down here. It's not even on this page. Of course it's not. And anticipation. That's the other word. So I'm like, I'm expecting not to go. I'm expecting not to go. And then I'm like, I'm anticipating not going. And I was like, this is bull crap. I'm going. I am going to this. And I'm like, what if I just had the expectation that I'm going? And then I started, like, I jumped ahead, and I was like, I want to think about what it would feel like the day after. And and my whole energy just, I got chills. Like, I just felt the energy shift and go, wow, that would feel awesome. And I didn't want to just go and be miserable. I mean, I wouldn't be a bad guest. I would fake it, you know? I'd be like, hey, I'm going to go throw up, you know? I'm like, I don't want to go and be miserable and feel sick. And, you know, I want to go. I want to come through for my friends. And I want to feel good, and I want to have fun. And I just sat and felt like what that felt like. And I'm like, that's my goal. That's what I'm doing. And I went, and I had a good time. And I was a good guest, and I danced, and it was a good time, and I feel so proud of myself. So I'm like, I'm on to something. And then I got alchemy, because that's what I get so much from the angels. They're like, you're a master manifester.
Yes.
Which I'm like, really? Because I've had a whole bunch of bad stuff happen. It's like, right, because you're an automatic pilot manifesting, right? My fears and all the...
Yes, rather than being intentional about it. Yes, and you're an alchemist. Boom. Yes.
That's it.
Oh my God.
And an alchemist, right? So I'm like, well, let's start. Where's that word? Alchemizing, right? Is that our made-up word? Alchemizing.
Yeah.
And that's what I got. And that's what I heard the angel say. You just did that. You alchemized. You didn't. You let go of the expectations.
Yes.
And had a positive anticipation. And so there's something in that word that really moves me. And I felt it. And I'm like, okay. All right, because you know how like people are like, oh, pretend that this happened, or project what you want. Right. There's something about anticipation. There's something in it. I'm not quite sure what it is yet, but there's something about anticipation that puts, at least for me, into another vibration. Right. Because when I noticed when I was anticipating not going, it was already like it was real.
Right.
You know, it was like it was real. And I know, and you know how to do that. Well, I know how to be, cancel and do the right thing. And I know how to feel like shit about it, you know, and all of that. And it was like somebody was just like, hey, why don't you anticipate going? And I wanted to go so badly, and that's what happened. So I'm like, okay,
so
there's something,
cool.
and that's when I got the message, like, okay, you're learning your alchemy. You're learning what works for you in your alchemy. Am I right?
Oh my gosh. This makes me
Am I
so
right?
excited. Yes, you are. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Right. I always need
to hear
Christina.
this.
If I don't have Christina's okay, I got to get her okay. And then I'm like, all right, cool.
I just love this so much. And you know what I saw? I wanted to share with you what I was seeing as you were sharing that story, because first of all, thank you for sharing that. I think that's going to be like such an aha moment for so many people. And what I felt with that word anticipation, it's almost like if you think of like a future moment, right? That we are, as physical human beings, we're moving through time, but that future moment already exists. And there's a lot of different variations that exist, right? There's the version of you that didn't go. There's the version of you that went, but that she didn't feel very good at the party. There's the version of you that, went and had a great time and all the things and everything else in between, right? I'm just naming the main three options. And so it's almost like with the word anticipation, I see it as like the connection, right? Like you at first you're plugged into the version of you that was not going. And then you're like, wait a second, that doesn't feel good. I get to choose. I am a sovereign being. I get to decide this, right? My free will. You unplugged from that one and you plugged into the different reality. And that was the anticipation. I'm going to plug into that one. You know what I mean? And then you did the things around continuing to be connected and embody that version of you. Right, by thinking about how you're going to feel the next day and all the things. And so I just love this so much. So good.
Thank you. Yeah, I was feeling like how proud I felt. Like man, if I go, I didn't let anybody down, and I feel so proud I went. And if I go and I'm a good guest, and I have fun and I'm happy to see everybody, that would feel so amazing. And I'm hearing so anticipate that, and that was new. That was new.
Yeah.
That was new for me. Yeah.
But look how powerful that was. Oh my gosh. That is so cool.
Yes.
Cool.
Just like today.
Wow.
When you asked me to do this interview, and I'm so flattered. Thank you so much. And I'm so honored. And I was like, fear. What did I say to you? I was like, I'm terrified. And I say yes. I'm terrified. And I say yes. But like, since I did the thing about, going to the event, I'm like, well, why be nervous? You can be nervous, but it's like, I'm anticipating a good time with Christina. I'm anticipating just talking our shit.
Just like a beautiful flow.
Having fun. And if there's people out there that get something from, like, to me, like when I'm doing a podcast, like, talking, sharing my experiences, because that's what I do. I share the good and the ugly, like this, like, it's like, this is like, I'm not a teacher. I'm just sharing a journey. I'm sharing an experience. And this is what my experience looks like, and I just thought, just have a good time. Just for me, play is a huge thing. So I'm like, well, just focus on play. What we do when we talk and we do our thing, Yes,
exactly. Exactly. I just love that. And I just love the energy that you bring here and the stories that you shared and really just bringing this energy to everyone who's listening in right now, and to really inspire them and to show them that whatever they're going through at this moment.
Oh yeah.
They're okay. They're going to be okay.
You're okay.
And it's all normal.
You're okay.
And you're so supported. And you're so loved.
Yes.
And
you're gonna be okay. It's Italian. Come, you're gonna be all right.
Exactly. And there's so much support that, sometimes we don't even realize. And then it's only in retrospect, like you shared earlier, where you're like, oh, okay. Angels were there with me. My guides were there with me. They've been there the whole time. And now I finally get to just recognize that. But
now I can call on them and purposefully channel and purposefully when I'm writing lyrics in a song, like that's what you were saying earlier, like my song Motivation, right? It was, a direct result from meditating after a course that we did, I can't remember the course because there was a couple that I took with you right before Beyond Limitations. The class that you did, right?
Yeah.
With Jacqueline Hammer, right? In Chicago. It was right. So by the time that Beyond Limitations happened, the song was written. Right. So like I was writing because I always write what's going on with me, and I write from emotion. I must be the impact. You know, I'm writing from like just what's the emotion, but it's like, it's not in just my lyrics. It's in the chord choices. It's in the melody. And, your class, the homework was to write affirmations, right? So I had started to write some lyrics that I'm going on in my life. Like, you know, I've got motivation to get off medication because I'm getting off anxiety medications, right? So like I had that. And then, you know, like the homework, write down. So it literally was my homework. The song was my homework. I just didn't realize it till I was like, kind of done. And I was like, oh, this is a song, because in the song you hear like, all I know is that I'm strong enough, I'm worthy enough, all I see is what's in front of me. It's like, you know, that's just faith, just having faith, you know, and, you know, intoxicating feeling you have on me, which is basically what I'm talking about, is when you get still and you get silent and you connect inside. That magical place. That's where the magic is. And that's where I feel hope. And so the song is motivation, and the chorus is you motivate me. I'm talking about spirit. I'm talking about being connected, you know, with my true, authentic self. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. You could be like, oh my God, I had the worst week. I hate my life, right? All of this. But then you get still and you get to this all of that goes away.
Yeah.
All the ego. It goes away. Like when I do guided meditations, I say, in a guided meditation, they said, tell your ego to perch on your left shoulder. It's not to participate. So the way I keep things simple, I see the word ego with two arms and legs. I'm like, tick, tick, tick. There, you sit there.
I love
you
that.
are not to participate. You are not to butt in. You know, like I keep things simple. And when you get to that magic place, that's when you have clarity. And so that's what that song is about. And I feel like a lot of people can connect with it because it's like everybody's like real, authentic, divine, happy place in their heart space. When you take that time, you get clear. And that's your real life. You take all that other, also what kind of day I had. Oh, it doesn't matter. This or that. All of a sudden you're just like, oh, like a lyric, I'm worthy enough, you know, like it's, you hear the truth. The trick is holding on to the truth.
Right. But then you can also just press repeat on the song and just listen to it over and over and over again.
Listen to it over
until
again.
That integrates, you know, and I just love this so much. I love how you share and transmit this energy through your songs, because
thank you.
You know, it's not always everyone's thing, or maybe necessarily what they need on a specific day to just like, okay, I'm just going to go meditate and, you know, whatever. It's sometimes we need to be doing something different. Maybe I need to go for a walk, and while I'm walking, I need to listen to a song. What song do I listen to? You know what I mean? Like it's so beautiful and so powerful to be able to. And I remember the first time I listened to that song, I was on a walk. And I was listening to it. Yes.
That's
and
so
I
funny.
Was like,
That's
just
so
like
funny.
skipping down the street after that, you know, it's just like so, and I feel like it opens up the doors for people to realize that there's no this like strict one way to, you know, being able to be connected or finding truth or, you know what I mean? Experiencing that. There's so many different ways. And the most important thing is finding the way that resonates most with you, which can change from day to day. You know, there's not one way. And to be able to have, you know, creative artists and people like you who bring this out into the world is just so amazing. Like, I'm just so grateful for you, and I'm celebrating you. And I just want to say thank you so much for that. Thank you.
You made my day. You made my week.
Thank you. on that note, I want to share with everyone where they can connect with you and where they can find more of you. So we have all of the links and all the fun stuff in the show notes below. But if you want to share real quick where you're at, I know that you're on different social media platforms and how people can find you. Go ahead.
Dominico artist, one word. Dominico artist.
Super easy.
Facebook. Super easy. Facebook, Instagram. I'm on there a lot. And you can find all my music and podcasts on Spotify.
Oh my gosh. Amazing.
So
easy. I like how you keep it nice and simple.
As simple. It is me that you're talking to. It is really me. And I enjoy getting to know everybody. And just be cool, man. Just be cool. Keep it PG-13, okay?
I love that. Well, thank you again so much for coming on here today and sharing about you, sharing your beautiful energy, your stories, your humor, like everything. Like I said a million times already, I just love you. And I'm so grateful for you.
Thank you. I'm grateful for you. Thank you, Cristina. I'm honored. Thank you.
Yay. Thank you.
And hang in there, buddy.
So for everyone listening in, if you enjoyed this, if you want to share any aha moments, any key things that stood out to you, any questions, you can post that. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can post this in the comments below this video. Let us know what was the key biggest aha thing that Dominico shared today that really, lit up the light bulb for you. Let us know. Share your love in the comments below. And for those of you watching, or not, actually, you're not watching, you're listening on your favorite podcast platform. If you've been enjoying this show, then please feel free to leave a review for this podcast. It is always super helpful. And I'm just so grateful, so excited to have this opportunity to share this experience with you all, share this beautiful, light being with all of you today. And so, as always, I'm sending you so much love and angel blessings, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you once again for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. And if you want to learn more about the Divine Connection podcast, you can go to CristinaAroche.com/podcast and learn about how you can be featured on the show. Thank you once again for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. And if you want to learn more about the Divine Connection podcast, you can go to CristinaAroche.com/podcast and learn about how you can be featured on the show.